thing we should all remember is our careers are much longer than first job or whatever, right? So you'll have enough and more opportunities to get the things that you want to do. So therefore, don't ever get disheartened if you don't get your dream job the very first time.
All right. So today we have Mr. A.L. Jagannath in marketing domain across different companies, starting from VMware, LinkedIn. He's right now with ThoughtWorks.
Placements are also no measure or no indication of one's potential or capabilities. Some people might get it, some people may not get it, or salaries. I mean, these are all small metrics that people get who hung up about. So be invested in what to do and believe in yourself, and you will get what you want. You see, I started long ago advertising, telecom, hardware, software, cloud. I've done a gamut of different kinds of industries, different kinds of customer groups, and I never repeated what I've done before the previous job. So it was always a unlearning and relearning for me, which means that if you have to be successful, you have to invest that much more effort into knowing the category and the business, and therefore be successful. I would see one's career as a mosaic of experiences. Who would be a better person you want to bet on? Somebody who's just done one thing all his life, or somebody who's been exposed to multiple things, multiple situations, multiple challenges, right? So obviously the latter is more likely to happen because you've seen more, and therefore you tempered yourself and molded and multiple times, and you come out successful. So come out of comfort zones every time. If you do the safe stuff, you'll get safe results. Predictable inputs, predictable results. But none of us want to be that. Right? All of us want to excel in what we do. Therefore, if you don't push the boundaries and don't push the come out of comfort zones, you will never excel.
All right. So today we have Mr. A.L. Jagannath, who has around more than 20 years of experience in marketing across 30. Oh my God. So that's a news. So more than 30 years of experience in marketing domain across different companies, you name it, right? So starting from VMware, LinkedIn, Sun. He's right now with ThoughtWorks since a really long time, and he's doing some wonderful job in the organization. So in this podcast, we'll just speak to him. We'll try to understand what marketing is, more about him, how he navigated his personal journey, and try to understand a little bit about his thought process, what he thinks about different things, what we are facing as an MBA student, and does he relate to it as well or not. So, right, so I think, while you are navigating your career, it's really a tough job. Now, we look at the market, there are different domains, different roles that are coming up. So, what are the few things that you like to keep in your checklist while you look for a new job or try to think of a shift in roles?
Okay, great question. So let me give you my personal example, right? So the way I've navigated and the way my career spanned out. If you see, started long ago in advertising, then I moved to telecom, from hardware, software, cloud, commercial networking, services, multiple things, right? So pretty much I've done a gamut of different kinds of industries, different kinds of customer groups, different kinds of segments, and I never repeated what I've done before in the previous job. So it was always a unlearning and relearning for me, which means that if you have to be successful, you have to invest that much more effort into knowing the category and the business, and therefore be successful. Right? So it's always a challenging thing for me. Luckily, I've been successful every stage of my life, every stage of the career that I've been. I would see one's career as a mosaic of experiences. Right? So who would be aspect, and this again personal views, who would be a better person you want to bet on? Somebody who's just done one thing all his life, or somebody who's been exposed to multiple things, multiple situations, multiple challenges, right? So obviously the latter is more likely to happen because you've seen more heat, and therefore you tempered yourself and molded and multiple times, and you come out successful. So I would guess that to look for their careers is try and come out of comfort zones every time. Push yourselves. Don't be, the moment you're in comfort zone, you try to do the same thing. If you do the safe stuff, you'll get safe results. Predictable inputs, predictable results. But none of us want to be that. Right? All of us want to excel in what we do. Therefore, if you don't push the boundaries and don't push the come out of comfort zones, you will never excel. So always try and challenge yourself to different things. You may fail, but should not stop you from experimenting with anything that you do. Therefore, even in a career, I think you should make those choices which expose you to different situations. Obviously, keeping your core, I would say the core strength, inherent strength. For example, I've been marketer.
Okay.
And as a marketer, my transferable skills are marketing, and I know customers, how they behave, I know how pricing behaves, how pricing happens, or how all the basics, fundamentals of marketing run, right? The only example I can give is, I would say, marketers are like chefs, right? A chef has multiple ingredients in front of him. On one day, he could cook South Indian. The same ingredients, I could dish out a Chinese thing, or I could dish out a Italian dish, right? But then at the core, you know how to use those ingredients right. Therefore, I think I see a very parallel in all marketers. So we know our concepts, we know the fundamentals of how customers behave, buy, sell, engage with customer, all the 4 Ps and whatever else at a very basic level. If we know those things, it doesn't matter what category you are in, what industry you are to. Today I could be tires, tomorrow I could be rockets, and day after I could be selling bangles or watches, whatever. It doesn't matter.
So when you say that it's better to have someone who comes with gambit of different diverse experience, does it mean experience in terms of job role, someone from sales or probably operations, and then who's coming into marketing? Or you're talking about the industry specifically?
It can work both ways. One is industry, obviously, it gives you exposure to different markets and different segments. But at the same time, in terms of your own job role or job content, I think I'm not saying that you should depart completely from marketing and get into coding or become a finance guy, which is obviously not possible. But if you were to invest and knowing a little more than what marketing is defined as, I think you'll be a better. But you should know all the businesses. You should know how operations works. You should know if you're in a manufacturing industry, you should know what is the process, how does the car gets manufactured, how does the nut and bolt get manufactured, whatever. Right? So you cannot just say that I will be only a marketing guy and I'm oblivious to all the other functions of the organization. So you will need to embrace a lot of it and know it. And that is how you grow, because you will be a better marketing person when you know the business well, or you know the product well, or you know your business models well. So I would always say that you don't become too restricted or tunnel visioned about the role of the activity that you do. Go beyond that.
And so, as per you, what matters more? Like when you're shifting jobs, do you look at what kind of work that I'll be doing? Does that matter more? Or does brand name or CTC or the work culture? Because these are all buzzwords in the industry right now whenever you're choosing a new job. So what is your priority in that terms?
So I would say a lot of people give too much emphasis sometimes on brand names, and sometimes people I also advise a lot of
big brand names.
Yes, right. So which is not a bad thing, but at the same time, I think in initial stages of your career, I think your job content makes a lot of difference as to what are you doing. Am I in a situation where I'm able to learn and leverage my learning into something productive, right? So that makes a lot of difference. So sometimes, there are a lot of criteria people choose jobs, right? Either it is brand names or the money or sometimes designation, sometimes as frivolous as proximity to the office, multiple things, right? I would say the initial stages of your life, it's about how much you can learn. Learning should be the first most or the topmost criteria for you to pick a job. Money should be the last. Money will come to you. I've seen that with many people, including myself. You run out of money, that's a very short-term way of biopic stuff. Money will come to you. If you're good, money will follow you somewhere. But then don't shortchange the process of learning. I would, again, love to give examples or analogies, right? Never put your career on boil. It is like milk. Do you ever put milk on high flame? No, you put a milk on low flame, right? Because you want it to simmer, right? And career should simmer in initial days. You need to learn, absorb, give enough time for you to internalize a lot of these things. So that is when you really give back and become a better marketing person. So don't be in a hurry to hop jobs or run after big brand names. Correct. If all of it works in one place, great. If you're working for a great brand name plus learning plus money, win-win-win, right? But then if some of these things are choices, then obviously first priority or at least your priority should be to learn.
So do you think, because I have also had some interns working in my company, in my team, the ideology or the mindset is now shifting, because those who are even entering for a fresher role, they want to create impact. How do I do something which impacts the bigger picture? How do I get my name out there? So for some, they feel that big brand names might give them that breakthrough.
Again, so let's not be in a hurry to create impact. Okay, impact will happen.
But isn't that a necessity for industry also? Because once you go for a second job, they're going to ask you what impact you created. What did you do?
Yeah, I mean, when I say impact, I would say, impact not necessarily is that I'm trying to like create some mark in the company.
Right.
Impact in your own realm of what you do can be small impacts. It's perfectly fair. When people look for when they're looking for another job, if I'm interviewing somebody from some company, I would always look at impact, quantifiable impact. Right? Have you, for example, if you're a marketer, within your own, your 2-year experience person, for example, within your staff, what have you done? Is it tangibly move the needle in some of these criteria that you set for yourself? But then at the same time, I'm saying that you need to invest yourself in any category or any business for some time for you to, because the longer you stay, the better the impact, the bigger the impact. It is like striking nails, right? You want to do small hits or you want to hit big bang, right? The big strike. For the big strike to happen, you need to invest yourself in any of these industries or categories or businesses for some time. So, I know today's the generation, the priority is to quickly hop jobs and quickly get impact and quickly make money. At times, it's counterproductive because you lose out on some of these things. You sometimes go superficially and you show later. Okay. Therefore, it's always good to balance that. So,
no, I understand that this hunger or this recognition thirst is there in new gen, but I feel like somewhere industry is also pushing them to go towards that, because you see ads like 2 years marketing career is required for an executive role, right? So I think it derives from that you need to have a good experience so that you can get an entry level job and then you can focus on your career in the long run.
But if I were to ever advertise for those kind of jobs, I would refrain from those seeking those people. So it is unfair on any company to expect a 2-year person to really have created some of that,
Correct.
or created some boardroom decisions that have moved or changed the stock price of the company. I don't think so. It's not possible. It is unrealistic. Therefore, it is critical. I'm sure all mature companies, mature HR teams will never expect those things. If somebody writing a JD like that, I think it's not good. They're just setting themselves for failure. But as I said, so it's a balance between learning and impact. It's about how you prioritize one over the other. That's how I think one should look at this.
Got it. So I think when I look back at my career, my first internship was in a sales role. And I personally feel that helped me a lot. And I think earlier when we were discussing, you also emphasized more on having a sales team. So I think for a marketer, or let's say for any role in any company, a sales team is important. What are your perspective? Like a very general perspective is you get to understand customers and your product better. Apart from that, what other insights that you derived from your stint in sales?
So my sales happened much later in life, but what the core point I was trying to make is, do you understand, are you close enough to your customers? Now, marketing as a function typically is one level behind the sales folks. You don't get a direct exposure to end customers directly, right? Correct. So you are reliant on the sales folks, and then they translate
research and whatever insights we
sales guys give you information. If they don't get yourself exposed to customers directly. So therefore, for better, whoever has the proximity to the customers has best understanding of the customer, right? Because they understand the pain points, they understand the requirements, they understand why they're buying the product or not buying the product or competition, whatever. Right? So that is what it is. If that information is, and that is critical for marketing. Okay? Therefore, you can get that information not necessarily by being in sales. If you have been in sales, for example, for some time, you know the dynamics of what happens. So therefore, you can be a better marketing guy. But that doesn't necessarily stop a marketing guy to not have exposure to sales in other ways. So while you can shadow a salesperson, you can part the meetings, the other ways to interact with them. You can have voice of customers, you have research, you can have feedback systems, multiple ways to get information from customers for you to be a better marketing guy. The reason I said sales, because sales people, a sales mindset of understanding customers is very different and very important ingredient for being a successful marketer. So either you come from sales or you invest in knowing the customers, either which way you can be successful.
Got it. I've worked in marketing and sales both, so I sort of feel like I get the perspective from both ends. But I feel like there is always a tussle going between these two teams in the industry because sales team would always say that the lead quality is not so good. It's very poor. Marketing team is not doing a good job. Marketing team will say sales is not doing a good job in conversion. So, is that something that you also see in your?
That is a tussle, or that is a point of friction in every organization from time immemorial, right? Time immemorial. So it is going to be there for the rest of whatever time. So it's not something that one can solve just like that. But as long as you have a healthy interaction, healthy collaboration with sales, I think that's a good outcome. So yes, you have to respect each other's roles. Sales folks do a job of meeting customers and giving you inputs. Likewise, they should respect what marketing does and how marketing helps sales. So it is symbiotic stuff, right? So sales has to be reliant on marketing to create leads and build the whole business and create the funnels and whatever, right? Likewise, marketing is reliant on sales to give them inputs, right? So it's two sides of the same coin, but they have to work together in tandem. Only then that whole org will run well.
Exactly.
To the point of whether one guy has.
How do you handle this tussle?
But it is again data driven, right? So it's all completely. So suppose I've given them 100 leads, only they qualified, for example, 15% of that, and let's just say they kachra hai, acha nahi hai. So you have to validate and you have to figure out why they are bad or what inputs. So you have to even go. So that is. It's an iterative process. It's not like whatever you give always will be the best, or likewise what they say is the right thing. So those conversations are heavily reliant on data and CRM and what has happened to it. So better you are equipped with your data and your logic to counter a sales question, but you like to be a winner. But it's not a question of who wins, but it's a question of figuring out the right strategy for go-to-market with sales, making sure both of them work in tandem. So that's really the
Got it. So you mentioned a lot of things, a lot of insights that you derive from what sales people do. So how much of your marketing campaigns are based on the insights that you consume directly from sales team? Are all of it based on that? I don't think so.
No, you rely heavily on inputs from sales because they are the first people to draw the requirements or draw the need of the business. What does the business need? What do the customers need? What are we solving a pain point? Therefore, how do we communicate what we communicate? So that's what marketing does. Right? But in terms of really understanding customers and giving you the inputs, obviously sales gives input. For example, should we in BFSI do GenAI or a data campaign? So depending on what is the requirement, what is the pain point we're trying to solve, obviously that input comes directly from sales. So therefore, you have to have beginning the quarter, I'm just saying, for example, for building for the campaign for the quarter, you need to start with that. They're your first starting point. From there, that is where you start your conversation from, and you get inputs, and then you develop whatever. Then you bounce back, saying, okay, sales, Mr. Sales, this is what we developed. Does it look nice? Is it going to help? It's going to cut ties with the customers. If they say it's okay, that's when you go. So sales is your first bouncing board in that sense, to validate any of these campaigns that you create.
I think while I had the sales role, I felt like, every day after a while I'm just doing the same thing, repeating the same thing. Now I'm sure you must have also felt it, that you get a plateau very early in your sales role because it's more of a repetitive. Obviously you're meeting different kind of clients, but then you are essentially doing the same thing, each of them. Then how long do you think a sales team is a good tenure? Because I saw you did something like 7 years in your first company, and then afterwards.
No, I did about 4 years. Not the second ship was 4 years. There are career sales people who have done sales for 30 years, right? Likewise, people have done finance for 30 years and operations for 30 years and marketing for 30 years. Right? It's not a question of how long one has done. Therefore, there's something called hitting a plateau. When you reinvent yourself, you grow up, you grow on the ladder, you just manage teams, you do multiple things. You reinvent the whole role for yourself, right? So therefore, if you think you're getting jaded and you think the plateau, which means that you are not doing something, that's something like exactly not right. So successful people, successful salespeople, successful marketing people keep themselves self-motivated to do more, push yourself, relearn, reskill, do something different, challenge yourself, right? If you don't do that, obviously, any role will feel very jaded and good.
Absolutely. So now coming to the story of your guitar, I want to understand what was that aspiration, when did it start, and why it took so long for you to pick that up finally and achieve your dreams.
So, rock music or playing the guitar has always been a dream, a childhood dream, right? So you grew up in a
So you're a fan of Black Sabbath?
of course,
Metallica,
AC/DC, right? AC/DC. No. So when you grow up in a small town, middle class family, your priority has been always studies and marks, whatever. So if you were to look at any of these things like guitar or whatever music, they seem like unnecessary distractions. Which kept you away from your studies, and people would say,
And first
"Give guitar, well, a mark loves right? Get up for everything. All this is wait for study, right?" So whatever. So one goes through the grind of studies and marks and careers and jobs, whatever. But then this dream or this amber was burning all through, and it should not. It had to burn. Like someday it cannot have been doused. And that's when I challenged myself that I should pick up the guitar and learn. I'm like to give it a shot. I'm passionate enough. I will give it time and I will learn more. And in the process, I did a lot of things. I went to people coming home to teach me. I also went to music schools.
This was around 2 years back?
No, much about 8 years.
Okay.
But yeah, it's career of whatever. You're much later. Not like a child.
So
like
that's also too high. I mean, 20 years into the career and then you try picking up a new hobby.
Absolutely, and you have to find time for it as well.
Right.
So I had people coming home. I went to school. My classmates were all class 3, class 4, class 5 kids. The teacher was a college student. So I was an uncle for everyone, right? So it didn't matter. So I invested myself. I learned because I had to learn whatever. And the journey led one to the other. And luckily, I met the right people along the way. Plus, today, these days, internet is such a big resource. If I want to learn a song, I have all resources to. If you know the basics, you can learn. If you give the time, you can learn it. So that way, a combination of people, right kind of people who help me, guide me, plus internet resources, plus the opportunities that came along. I played in my office band. I played in front of 2,000 people. I'm now a loosely held band called.
Played in Hard Rock Cafe. I think you mentioned that was your dream.
Yeah, I wanted to always play at Hard Rock Cafe for some reason, and I've played there so many times now. And again, it's a challenge for myself. Every time we play, we pick up new songs. New songs means more effort. And when you play and perform in front of people, you're not doing a friends thing around playing guitar around bonfire and doing some playing wrong stuff, right? So you have to be professional, which means that you have to be correct. You have to give that investment in time and effort and to sound right. And obviously, people who come to Hard Rock Cafe pay some normal fee, but for them it is expectation of quality stuff. So it means that, like everything that we do, that everything that we in our lives, be it work, be it personal relationships, or be it music, whatever. Right? So you have to come prepared. And find time on weekends with band meets up on weekends to practice. So a lot of things happen. So
this is an office band, or you?
No, this is now different sort of people. All working people, different professions, but it's just a loosely held band. But we just started.
This kind of brings me to a question. Like a lot of us, even for me as an example, I had a lot of aspirations. While growing up, I pursued few of them, left them again because of studies. घर से किसी ने बोला कि नहीं पहले 10th में अच्छे grades लाओ, then we'll do this. Never really took off. How do you keep that aspiration alive, and what advice would you give now that you've flew with those wings and actually achieved it? What advice do you have for people like us who are still leaving things?
Simple thing, right? So life will pass by. Your work and job can keep you busy for 40 years. You will be busy. When you retire, when you look back, you should have something that you achieved. Now, your achievement cannot be how many presentation slides you made, or how many flights you missed, or how many promotions you got. That nobody cares. Create memories for yourself. Create stories for your grandkids. tell them that you played or you did whatever. So something. See, I'm not saying only music should be passion. It could be hiking, it could be a sport, it could be gardening, cooking, whatever. Anything that excites you, that keeps you motivated. So whatever you do, you should find a reason to go back to it and try and invest more time and learn and be better at it. And that's when you really feel a passion. So my point is that we will all find enough reasons not to do things. Life will pass by. So I would always urge people to pick it up. Pick up some passion that keeps you busy beyond work. Something that you enjoy doing. Something that gives you satisfaction, even if it is 3 hours in a week that you practice or you do whatever you have to do. It is something that you enjoy doing. So I would always urge people to have a passion beyond work. And otherwise, it'll be a great life spent with a lot of money in a bank account, but no memories and no stories.
So, sir, I believe mentors and role models, they are very important in everyone's life, right? Not just professional, personal as well. I remember in my first job, my general manager taught me a lot of things, and I still value those things. The time he had spent on me, very close to my heart. I knew nothing, and then he put me to a level where I knew at least something. So, do you have someone like that in your life who you consider your role model? If that's okay.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think everyone should have a mentor or somebody they should look up to. Mentors like gurus or like lighthouses, right? They give you direction. They set the tone of what you should do and how you want to chart your career. Having said that, I think I was lucky to have a few people really influence my career. First, obviously, as in professional life, there was somebody called Abdul Khan, who was my kind of initial bosses, and he really started giving opportunities, guided me right time, right things. I think I really look up to him and have a lot of gratitude. And the other person from my educational background is Professor Jagannath. I think he also did and chart my career in many ways. So his guidance and his counsel really helped me take up the right decisions at the right times. In fact, I also help him these days teach. Whenever he invites me, obviously I can't say no. So I go and teach a few business schools, whatever I part co-teach with him. But otherwise, even now, both these gentlemen I'm in touch with, and they really help. But through the career, I've had good fortune of interacting with very, very senior and very accomplished bosses and accomplished leaders, and many things to learn from them.
Got it. Great to hear that, sir. Last segment, I just want, if you have any message for our PGPPL students, that would be great as a closing note.
Yeah, so it was absolutely wonderful opportunity to thank you to thanks to you. I was here, but wonderful interacting with the team here. I think the kind of questions we had in the class and the engagement, I think was absolutely wonderful. I didn't expect so many questions. I'm glad we had those questions and the debates and points of views. I think really appreciate. I mean, I didn't come here saying that I knew it all. I mean, I also still keep learning from people and perspectives, right? So all you folks have different perspectives. It's always nice to learn.
Great. Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks a lot for your time. It was really nice having you here, and we'll be looking forward for the concert ticket whenever you're around.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll be happy to cheer for you again.
Yes, thank you so much.
First-hand experience in playing the guitar. Great. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.